get some publicity, build the brand, we'll talk at some conferences, we'll float, and then we'll try and appease the whims of our shareholders until the end of time. How's that sound? Yeah! Let's go! There should be a few semis at the farm. Some are faster than others. Choose one, hook it up to the tanker, and haul out of there. Oh, yeah, I should say the O'Neills don't take kindly to visitors.
Me in a positive way. Like, he was just telling them about stuff that, just different stuff that I didn't think people were paying attention to, but apparently he was. And so, like, he remembers when I used to come to, like, this, we had this dance competition called Star Quest. And I was one of the dressers at Star Quest. And it just was one of them things that I was just doing stuff that people, trans people weren't doing at the time in my city. He clearly held you in high regard. Yeah, he did. It was a positive. He just was naming shit that he remembered that I did that for me I didn't pay attention to because I was just living my life. But it was kind of groundbreaking. So he was naming. I was like, oh, I forgot that I did that. Because it wasn't in my mind. It was just something that I did. I just didn't think about it as like groundbreaking, but it was. And so he was talking about that, and so people started asking us questions, and yeah, it was all good. Like, it actually was super, super positive, and they was, I thought it was kind of dope. Like, they were kind of just asking questions. Some questions were stupid, but then some questions wasn't. They was like asking just different stuff. And so I ended up falling asleep, and my gay mom her mom ended up coming to bail in her house. And so once my gay mom got bailed out, then she bailed me out. And so we got out on that Sunday morning. Yeah, I got out. She got out that night. I got out that Sunday morning because she had to go get some money to bail me out too. Because they gave us our bail was 500 or whatever. I think our bill was like 1,000, so we had to pay. I don't know, but whatever the bill, we had to pay $500. That was the bill. Whatever the percentage of 10% or whatever, I don't know. We had to pay $500. And so I had the money, but I didn't have it on me. So she needed to go get the money, and then I had to pay people back, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, got out of jail. It was 10%. So either our bond was like 5,000, we had to pay 500. That's yeah. So yeah, she had to pay 5,000. I had to pay 500, and I had to pay 500. And she had to borrow $250 from my aunt and $250 from my friend to pay mine off, and then I got out and paid mine and paid her. It was a bunch of long ass study. But that was the first time that me and her had got into a situation where she was like, "Oh, this is my down and started." So yeah, but that's my story about that. I done told y'all a story. There's so much I wanted to talk about that wasn't that story. But yes, that's that story. All right. So let's talk about some more tea. All right. So have y'all heard fuss corporate fat cats going on with Hope Giselle? The food you was talking about is called a spread. Oh yeah, whatever that is. I know what it was called, but they were giving it to me. But let me know. Rewind back to the beginning. Something with a trans march. I haven't. No. What's T? All right. So let's watch the videos. I told y'all this thing is a scammer. I don't know why y'all let that lady scam y'all. But all right. So Hope um got hired to be the executive director of the National Trans March. And so, but the all right, I'm gonna give y'all. She did a live yesterday, and she's blocked. I have her blocked, so I couldn't watch it. But somebody sent it to me, and so I want y'all to hear what she has to say. Oh, so the general consensus is her contract was up as the ED and they did not renew it or something like that. I don't know if she got fired or they just didn't renew her contract. I don't know what the T is, but she wasn't the ED no more. They let her go. The board let her go. And so, in retaliation to the board letting her go, she steals the social media of the trans march and deletes all the pictures, all the history of these people. It's been going on for 5 years. And she deletes all of the pictures and changes the name of their social media to some kind of nonprofit that she's running. So apparently, the trans man, I think his name is EC, is the one who gave her the code to get the social media because he set up the social media for them. And so the contract wasn't renewed. Thank you. So the contract, so she was able to be the ED, but the contract just was not renewed. So it wasn't like she was fired, it just wasn't renewed. So she felt some kind of way about it, and so she stole the handle, because yes, the handle had a lot of followers. So, but it's the history of the event. The event is like 5 years old. So this is what she had to say about it on her live.
What y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna tell people? That's how many receipts y'all got. Here are the receipts. Here are the receipts. Yes, it's the old Instagram page in order to promote it, which I didn't even start promoting yet because I have other things that I am doing. Educating the community about how to best prepare themselves for the Trump regime that we are currently in. Have you looked at my page lately? One of the things that I've been doing while y'all have been sitting around talking shit about what I don't do is working to make sure that Victoria's Secret continues their DEI program, which they do. One of the things that I was doing while y'all were out here talking shit about me was making sure that Target kept their DEI program. They didn't. Working to make sure that Walmart kept their DEI program. They didn't. To their DEI strategy was Costco.
Oh, my bad.
All the freedom that y'all got with some of those organizations before was because because of myself and the team over at Get Fluid training them and holding them to their fucking word when they hired us to be a part of their DEI and ERG programs. Again, these are not things that I'm making up. They're things that you can look up. You can look up Stafford Avenue. I've worked with them for the last.
All right.
What y'all are gonna do and what y'all gonna take home the page, okay? Posted anything on that page. I have not done anything significant with that page. And one of the posts that I left up was the initial post from 2019 because of nostalgia. I didn't take messages today from both Marissa and Grace talking about how I stole this page and they know how I am and they see how I am and all of these different things, essentially threatening to, I guess, blackmail me and release this information to the public that I took this page and made it my new nonprofit page. Now, again, let me be very clear. I took the page and I turned it into a nonprofit page that would still be for trans people and that would still benefit the trans community. I did not take the page and turn it into an Instagram for my fashion. I didn't take the page and turn it into a couples page for me and my husband. I didn't take the page and turn it into a Hope Giselle Free for All Part 2. I took the page and turned it into a nonprofit page that would still benefit Black and brown trans people. Now, let me be very clear. Might have been the right thing to do. Absolutely not. But did I do it with the right intention? Absolutely. Did I have every intention to ensure and to continue to make sure that the market was going to be successful? Absolutely. Was I given that opportunity early? No. Because before I
Okay. Before I continue, I stole these people's shit so I can still use it for Black and brown trans people. You stole Black and brown trans people's platform because you mad that they didn't renew your contract and deleted the stuff. And now you're trying to spin it like you're this amazing activist. It wasn't some special thing that you're doing for a community. You did this because you were being shaped. They didn't renew your contract and you were mad about it. Now, there's a team that I know, other teams, because I know everybody involved in this, but they might not want me to talk. But what is that she didn't raise any money. The whole time that she was there, she didn't raise any money. And the whole point of an ED, I don't know, you're an ED, is two things that you're supposed to do. Sell the mission of the organization to funders and raise money. Those are the two things that you're supposed to do as an ED. Raise money and sell the mission of the org. That is all you do. And so, she didn't raise any money. They hired her because they got glamored by her social media presence. They got glamored, like a lot of y'all read about her. I don't understand. I just been knowing her for a long time because she's been doing these lives. And I have seen her transform from being this anti-trans, like back in the day when Facebook was just starting their blame sex worker murders on them being sex workers. Like, she just has always been safe. And it has not changed. She's always been a girl. There's, she has, she's always been that. Always been that. Let me see if I can find it. I remember when Trayvon Martin died and all of that stuff was happening. Hope was on All Lives Matter, baby. Hope was making graphics saying All Lives Matter, aligning herself with the white people.
You on board? Okay, go ahead and tilt those rotors. We need you in position over the Russian submarine.
So she was in her Candace Owens bag. It wasn't until happened that she started to switch her talking point. She started to switch to a more that's from Facebook. She started to switch to a more. She started to switch her politics. Now,
Are you there? Okay. Wait for the water
can
tank
people
to arrive.
evolve? Absolutely, they can. So when initially when she had switched her politics, shifted, I was like, oh, maybe somebody has gotten to her. Somebody has. She has changed. She has evolved. That she had evolved. But then, what let me know that she hadn't evolved. Also, the girl started to drag her. Yeah. And when you learn that you can't grift, and you can't do that kind, you can't do that stuff, you switch. And so, what started to gag her is what started to gag me. I thought that she was switching her. She switched her. Around what age is that girl? I don't know anything about her age. But she doesn't have executive. Yeah, she does a good thing. She doesn't have executive experience.
And here they come. Bogdan's
And so she's, I think, from what I'm to understand, I think she was like Angelica Ross's assistant at one point prior to Angelica being like the famous actress that she has become. I think Angelica had a trans social company that she has now, trans sex social that she has now. I was have to say something, but that's the other tea that I don't want to bring into that tea. That might come up later. But I think she was Angelica's assistant or something. Don't quote me on that, but I think she was her assistant or something like that. And they had to let her go with that. So she doesn't really have executive experience. She's like a I don't know what to call it. But what started to be weird for me is she started doing little stuff. Like she was making fake bowl covers with herself, with her little I'm trying to be I'm trying not to read. But she was doing like this weird shit, y'all. She just was doing weird shit. What made me and her fall is one time she was on this show, I think it was a break, and I think it was Grapevine. Back in the day, not back in the day, during the pandemic, even before the pandemic, Grapevine had grown into this platform and they had Hope on it. And Hope was saying some weird ass pandering to cis women shit. And the trans girls in the community was like, you know, let us call you in, sis. Let us teach you that you pander.
We're not done until they upload Clifford on the Story Network. You hear that?
You pandering, you being weird, you being hate. And so, Angelica has like a video or something where she is like explaining it. And so we all on Twitter and we're discussing it. And so me and Brianna are talking. Basically, we're not attacking her. We're telling her where she's gone wrong. Like, yo, this is wrong. This is how you should have did this. It feels like you're pandering to cis girls, and it's just, yo, like, there's a different way that you could have handled it. And so, me and Brianna is talking to her on the Twitter feed. And all of a sudden, she says, oh, y'all just want to be. Y'all just jealous and y'all just want to be. Now, the only people in this thread is me and Brianna. In this. And I'm like, at this time, you got 5,000 followers. She has more now, but at the time, she had like 5,000 followers. And in my brain, I'm like, there's literally nothing that you have done that I haven't already done. So, what exactly about you? And at this time, you ain't even got titties. Or, I got titties. They don't look, they look like a titty. They ain't no implants. There's nothing about you. Like, there's nothing about your career. There's nothing about your look. You don't even look like you were on hormones consistently, because just based on your weight distribution, you don't look soft. You look real broad and Johnny Bravo. There's like it's literally nothing about you that me, that Diamond Style would want. Like, it's like your career. I was already I had already done the social media stuff. I had been a partner making money for years. You still was trying to be a partner. You still was everything, all this social media stuff that you are trying to do now, I had already done 10 years ago. And so there's literally nothing about you that I could be, like, in my brain, that I could be jealous of. So I didn't really understand you, but I was offended. And so I go to and so I really didn't understand. And then Brianna, this is what you look like at the time. You can tell you're not on homes, baby. You can see that you need to get either castrated. You can tell. Like, you can tell that something needs to be done. Something. There's something. You need to marinate a little bit more in the essence. Yeah. So, in my brain, I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you can't be talking about me. And if you're talking about Brianna is a whole warrior. She done passed the ball. She done just graduated from the pop. Why would she want to be there? Or who are you talking about? Who exactly wants to be you? Like, what did you have? Like, what I know is that you try to steal people's stuff. That's I was hired to archive. That's the go to Marketplace. This is Marketplace, my company. Our album. With once Marissa gets it back, I have all the pictures. Because I'm the one who owns it. Because I was hired to take all the pictures. Because I'm the bitch who know everything and know when the moments are happening. And what's gonna be at all the events and do all the stuff. I have all of them. So while she look at Ashley Marie. So as soon as Marissa get it back, I'm gonna give her the photos that she needs because that's now the one for the other year. I don't know, but the very first one, this is what I've done. I was brought to do this. Oh, and this is right here. This is the one who apparently Hope said gave her permission, and I'll go play it again, gave her permission to take the Instagram, and she said he did it because she set it up. So, but yes, here are the amazing pictures from the very first. This is Marissa. So I have all the pictures, so when they're ready to post them back up, I'll post them back up. The girls, Catching the Moan, Tatiana Moten, Angelica Ross, the beautiful, beautiful Amelia Black, and Marissa Bailey. That's what she said. That's what she said about me. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what she said was in cahoots with her. We're doing it. I don't know how true that is because we can't trust the camera. I love this picture. I'm far away from them, but I zoom in and catch them taking a selfie of themselves at the event. Isn't that cute? That's an artistic talent, man. I noticed you didn't say doctor. Doctor who? Doctor who? Oh, Dr. Mo. Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about her. I think she said she's a doctor. I don't know nothing about her. Hawaiian icon, Kiva, over executive director over at Positive Women's Network with Marnita Miller. Tori Cooper. Miss Walker, white girl. I know I'm a girl. I know who are the blueprint takers in the room who should be captured. So much tea in this one picture. So much tea. So much tea in this one picture. Y'all just don't know how much tea in this one picture. So much tea. But because I know how to tea, I know what moments for me. I love this stuff. Yeah, so anyway. A moment that I captured, also another whole picture. Yeah, the moans wasn't kicking in yet. We needed our moans, man. We needed our moans because that weight distribution, being heavy up top and low, not any on the bottom, that's giving, I ain't on my moans. I ain't on. This is Mariah Lopez. This is when she was supposed to be coming to talk about the tea with with what's his name, Malik Yoba, but she was telling us that she wasn't going to talk about any of that. And literally, that was the purpose of her being there. Upside Down Triangle, yes, Johnny Bravo. And she literally brought a dog to the panel. She brings the dog to the panel. Mariah Lopez, is that her name? Who brings the dog to the panel? So much so that the trans man that was supposed to be sitting here left because he was like, who brings the dog to the panel? But she said that was her emotional support dog to protect her. It was such a mess. It was so much tea and so crazy. So much tea. So much tea. So y'all, let's finish listening to the food of the food. Okay, so she said a board was built without her consent, without her consent.
This is going to be a depressing conversation already.
A board was built without I know without anybody talking to me about what the next steps were going to be. And let me be very clear. When people say, do you have authorization to do that? The person that built the page gave me authorization by telling me that I am only going to use the password to the page that he built. And I have authorization as the current executive director at the time. And she, as the person, it's the person that built it.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
Yes, I have all the permission.
Free with TurboTax Free Edition.
When I doubted and loathed and acted like a creep, and the one time I decided to be nice to someone, it turned
Measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We're going to continue.
But it was a simple disease. It is one that the United States.
It's Sunday night at 8.
Tonight, an outbreak and an omission. The measles is an entirely preventable disease. It is one that the United States already eradicated, but now a West Texas outbreak has killed a child. It's a deadly serious issue, and it came up in the president's first cabinet meeting. But it was met with, of course, this information from RFK Jr.
We're watching him put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
Now, Health and Human Services won't answer CNN's questions about if or when RFK will say 2 simple words: get vaccinated. It is amazing that we are talking about this.
Is what he said accurate?
Yeah, there's 16. Was there 16 outbreaks last year, and there's only 4 this year?
It has been 10 years since somebody has died from measles, and basically for the last 25 years, measles has been eradicated in this country. And so far, we've had over 100 cases, which is way more than in previous years for this time of the year. I mean, we are in February 28th.
But I don't
And
think
the
that was
hospitalization, well,
disinformation.
no, but the hospitalizations also, he did
That is also
make a big mistake there. The hospitalization said, oh, it's just precautionary. No, the children were not able to breathe. That's why they were brought to the hospital. And these are very easy, preventable, proven diseases, vaccines rather. And the idea that, I mean, I'm a parent of 2 kids. One of them still needs to get her second shot for the MMR. I'm going to get that as soon as possible. But the challenge is that we're discrediting something that has actually been working in our society. When there's so many things that are broken, why make healthcare scarier for people?
So I need to say in that moment, I urge all Americans to get vaccinated. Getting vaccinated is the surefire way to prevent kids from getting measles. That's it.
So I think the struggle for RFK is RFK before he became HHS secretary versus the role that he plays now. I don't think that it is as important for RFK to say get vaccinated. I think that is something that obviously kids Kids get, we all get the shots. I forgot what time.
You can't go to school without it.
Yeah, so those things.
We used to not be able to go.
But I think the larger issue though is that we're seeing, because I believe the person who died, I think they were unvaccinated. But until we deal with the fact that there were people that stemming from COVID, all of the mistakes that were made around the vaccine and the information that we got, and you're talking to a vaccinated Trump supporter.
I don't think.
So I think
this is just, first of all, it's Don RFK Jr. He personally is responsible for a good chunk of the misinformation around vaccines in general, and specifically measles. Just listen to this from his hearing just a few weeks ago.
I support the measles vaccine. I support the polio vaccine. I will do nothing as HHS secretary that makes it difficult or discourages people from taking
Anybody who believes that ought to look at the measles book you wrote saying parents have been misled into believing that measles is a deadly disease. That's not true.
I mean, he tried to paper over his actual history on this issue, and it's very
President Obama was against gay marriage when he came in, and then he said his thoughts evolved, and then he was for it.
It's not gay marriage. This is about
that was like a curveball from.
But it's true.
Obama, bringing up Obama.
Yeah, why not?
Vaccines and science are not about belief. They're science.
First of all, I think the thing that came out in that hearing that was the clearest for me is that RFK's kids are all vaccinated. He vaccinated his kids, and yet he's telling other parents, well, the science, we're relitigating stuff that shouldn't be relitigated. I don't disagree that there was a lot of stuff that came out of COVID that gave a lot of doubt. But that doubt should be forward-looking. We shouldn't be going back and looking at the flu vaccine. They canceled the hearing on that the other day. When the HHS wanted to put a statement out on the measles, whether people should get the vaccine, they couldn't even put a statement out. They sent a statement from the CDC instead.
Yeah, I think that this is all about just undoing past policies, and I think that's what a lot of this administration is on. It's just, let's just reevaluate everything that's ever been done throughout the entire history of this country. And I think that being vaccinated is very important. I just don't know if RFK is ever going to openly say that until the numbers get beyond what he's talking about right now.
And the truth is, it would actually be extremely powerful if he were to do that. He is one of the biggest anti-vaccine voices in the country. If he were to say to Americans, get the measles vaccine, that would have an impact. And he's not saying it. The panel is going to give us their nightcaps next. It's inspired by an amazing discovery at a thrift day.
Yes.
What are we in?
Yes, we have Rep. Jasmine Crockett on the show. So we want everybody to come and check it out. See you on Max and Saturday night on
that's going to be fire.
I'm going to ask her about Elon, too, see if she can say something else. She can cuss on our channel.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for watching Newsnight. Laura Codes Live starts right now.
A mystery in New Mexico. Gene Hackman and his wife found dead inside their home. Tonight, the new clues emerging about what may have happened. Plus, mega outrage over the release of Jeffrey Epstein documents. The hyped-up files falling flat and now leading to a mini civil war among Trump's top supporters. And what do Trump voters think about all these mass layoffs? Well, one woman who turned to him in 2024 only to get cut by Doge is my guest. Tonight, on Laura Coates Live. Tonight it should be a moment of remembrance for a Hollywood legend. And believe me, for this fan, it is. But Gene Hackman's death is also raising all kinds of questions and sparking a police investigation. Here's why. The 95-year-old actor wasn't the only one found dead inside his Santa Fe home. Hackman's body was discovered in a room near the kitchen, but his 65-year-old wife, Betsy Arakawa, was found on the bathroom floor. Scattered pills were around her body with an open prescription bottle on the countertop. One of their dogs was found dead in the bathroom closet, about 10 to 15 feet away from Hackman's wife. A caretaker who showed up at the house yesterday says that they saw bodies through the window. He then made a frantic call to 911.
Do they appear to be awake or alert?
No.
Are they moving at all?
No, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Okay, now you're getting it their way, okay?
That caretaker told authorities his last contact with Hackman and his wife was 2 weeks ago. It appears they had been dead for a while. Police say both bodies showed signs of decomposition, the beginnings of mummification of feet and hands. Police they're trying to piece together what exactly happened. The sheriff says there are no obvious signs of any foul play, but he's not ruling out that it could be a possibility. We've got our reporters and analysts here to walk us through what we now know. We'll also talk about Hackman's life and his legacy as a two-time Oscar winner. Hear from actor Keith David, who co-starred with him in The Quick and the Dead. Let's begin with the investigation unfolding in Santa Fe, New Mexico. CNN's Josh Campbell live outside the sheriff's office tonight. Josh, the sheriff's office, they did release some preliminary information about the autopsy. Can you give us the details they revealed?
Yeah, so we got that information, Laura, this evening from officials here in Santa Fe, the Sheriff's Department. And what they indicated is that they have conducted autopsies on both Gene Hackman as well as his wife, Betsy. And what they indicated is thus far, based on that initial assessment, they found no external trauma. They did order carbon monoxide and toxicology tests to be done. That's standard practice with any type of death investigation that may have been happened under suspicious circumstances. And so we're waiting for that information to come in. But of course, this isn't just a tragedy. This is a gigantic mystery as well, because of all the factors that you just mentioned. Yesterday afternoon, a 911 call came in from a caretaker who said that they found these people home and they were deceased. Authorities were dispatched there. Interestingly, they found the door was open. It was not secure. They didn't find any evidence of any type of theft. But as you mentioned, they found Betsy's body in one area near pills that were scattered, and of course Gene Hackman's body in another area. A dog was found deceased as well inside the closet near where Betsy was. So a lot of major questions here. One thing early in the day, people were wondering, well, could this have been some type of maybe carbon monoxide poisoning or a gas leak? The fire department was dispatched as well as the local utilities, and they determined that no, they couldn't find any indication of that. So the investigation very much underway.
A real mystery. Josh Campbell, thank you so much. I want to bring in CNN Chief Law Enforcement Analyst John Miller, along with Frank DiPaolo, who was a former Chief of Special Operations for the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. Frank, let me begin with you here. Did it surprise you when police initially said no foul play was suspected?
Very much so. The circumstances of very unusual circumstances of having two individuals deceased in the same home, along with a pet, and an unsecured apartment or door to a home, warrants concern. And I was surprised to hear that they did not believe there were circumstances or suspicious circumstances early on.
So, Frank, what would you be looking for had you entered the Hackman's home?
Well, there are two aspects to the investigation. My perspective as having overseen medical legal investigations for the city of New York for many years, we would arrive as the medical legal investigative component of this two-pronged investigation, along with working collaboratively with law enforcement. Upon entering the home, we would already be aware that there were decedents inside. What typically occurs early on is a walkthrough of the facility, and the purposes of that walkthrough is to get a sense as to what's happening. Is there clear evidence of a crime scene? Or is there any other suspicious or untoward circumstances that need to be further investigated? The fact that you've got two individuals who are deceased is very unusual. And that, as I said earlier, alone warrants a significant investigation.
John, let me bring you in here. And I wonder, what would the evidence that you think would be the most important in helping detectives figure out what happened here?
Well, you've got to approach this from a number of different angles because of what you don't have. What you don't have is a clear crime scene with, a clear assault or a clear suicide or a clear toxic agent. So now you have to go backwards, which is you have to go one step at a time and prove what it's not. until you eliminate it to a small things of what it could be. So let's go through that. It could be that there was toxins in the air, whether it was carbon monoxide or something else. Remember, just to get the cops and the crime scene people in there, they had to test that environment to make sure it was safe for them to go in, and they found no sign. But also remember, as Josh told us, these bodies have been there for maybe 10 days, possibly 2 weeks. So that doesn't tell us what the air condition was at the time they died. So you've got to look at the equipment in the house, what was putting out air, the space heater that was in the bathroom. You've really got to go over all that stuff. Simultaneously, you have to go into their lives and start paging through it. What were their emails saying? You've got to get search warrants for those computers and contacts. You've got to interview their friends and their physicians. Was someone diagnosed with some terminal illness that could have influenced the decision? Did one person fall down? Gene Hackman is in the mud room, where it looks like he fell. His cane is over here. His sunglasses are there. And did he die from that fall, or was it something in the air? Did she determine that she didn't want to go on without him and take an overdose of pills so that they could go together? None of these are things that we know. But when you go through all of the mathematical possibilities of what could be, you have to consider all of them with an open mind, including foul play.
Really, this is the beginning, the infancy of the investigation, as you both have described it. And Frank, I do wonder about some of the conditions that they do and are aware of. And police say that Hackman and his wife appeared as though they had been deceased for some time. They showed signs of, quote, mummification. So how might the state of their remains impact the autopsy?
Well, the presence of decomposition, in this case, from what we're hearing, it may have been several weeks worth of decomposition along with mummification that occurred, can impede the ability first at the scene to determine if there's any evidence of trauma. So it really does require ultimately in these cases for a thorough investigation in the form of the external and internal autopsy that will be conducted back at the Office of the Medical Examiner to really try to determine if there are signs of blunt or penetrating trauma, first and foremost. But it's a difficult task, right, dealing with that level of decomposition.
Sean Miller, Frank DiPaolo, thank you both so much. Very illuminating tonight. I know everyone wants to know what happened. Thank you. The two daughters and granddaughter of Gene Hackman remembering the patriarch in a very touching statement, saying, quote, he was loved and admired by millions around the world for his brilliant acting career. But to us, he was always just dad and grandpa. To millions of movie fans, he was the consummate everyman, playing dozens of roles that related to all of our lives. From starring as a New York City detective in that famous car chase from The French Connection, to playing the supervillain Lex Luthor, arch nemesis of Superman, Hackman won a slew of awards for these roles, including 2 Oscars. Some of his most iconic roles were in Westerns, like the 1995 epic The Quick and the Dead, which produced, if you remember, this memorable scene.
I'm confused. All I hear from you spineless cowards, is how poor you are. How you can't afford my taxes, my protection. And yet somehow you've all managed to find the money to hire a professional gunfighter to kill me.
With me now, the co-star of that powerful scene with Hackman, actor Keith David. So happy to have you a part of this experience today, albeit for this sad reason when we remember and reflect on his career. Keith, what was your initial reaction to the passing of Gene Hackman and his wife?
I'm still in shock because I didn't find out until late this afternoon as I came home from for lunch and my wife told me, and I was like, wow. I mean, the kind of irony is I was thinking about him last night.
Really?
Because as I was going through some pictures, I came across this picture, which is of me and Woody Strode. And, this was Woody's last movie. And I started thinking about Gene. And as I thought about Gene, Joan Darling, who was one of my sort of teachers and mentors and a director, she also lives in Santa Fe, and we often spoke of Gene because they were good friends. In this time that we're living in, a lot of people are going home, and certainly leaving us here. And but Gene, it's meaningful to me because we had a few great conversations while we were working on this movie, and I just truly loved his work ethic.
Yeah,
we talked about work a lot, and he was he was one of those guys. When I grow up, I want to be like him.
Well, what was it like to share the set with him?
It was extraordinary. I mean, one of the things that another good friend of mine, Johnny C. McGinley, we always talk about acting in a scene together and how important it is to throw the ball back, when somebody throws the ball back at you, and so you're really in the game. And Gene Hackman, I learned an important lesson from him because here, he's a huge star. And we had the scene that we had together, they have my close-up, they have his close-up. They did his close-up first, and he was monstrous. It was great. But the most important thing is when it came time for my close-up, he did exactly the same thing he did on his close-up. He didn't compromise or skimp or anything. He threw the ball back at me the same way we threw it back and forth on the first time. And that was, I was like, wow, because that doesn't happen every day, Chauncey.
An actor's actor.
Not everyone is that generous, but he was that kind of generous, and it shows. It makes a difference.
How do you think? I mean, I know the Oscars are this weekend. They are expected to pay tribute to Hackman. He was nominated 5 times. He won twice. How do you think he'll be remembered as an actor?
He was an actor's actor. I mean, he was really. He, like I said, he not only throws the ball back at you, but he is in the moment. He's in the game. He's not trying to be liked if the character isn't likable. He plays the guy, whoever that is. If he's nice, he's nice. If he has nice moments, he's a nice guy. And if he's not a nice guy, he's not a nice guy. And so you get to see that kind of human being because they do exist. Not everybody is a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was unafraid to show you that. And yet off camera, he was the nicest man you want to be.
I love to hear that about the way you can bring the authenticity of a role to the screen and be unapologetic about it. And of course, Keith, many could say the same about you as you've described him and the authenticity of your work as well. Can you tell me about some of those conversations or your fondest memory with Hackman?
That was one of them, and then there was another moment where he stood up for me in the most generous way. We were, in the movie said, your timing is everything. Time is money. We run out of time. So we were running out of time to shoot a scene that we were doing, and everybody kept rushing. And he finally stood up for me. He said, listen, we're not going to rush this scene anymore because, we got to give this guy a chance to do his work. And I was like, wow. That was
It was generous. I mean, and I think he would have done it for everybody. It wasn't just me. It happened to be me. And I just, I deeply appreciated that because not everybody stands up for you like that.
I knew I liked him, and I knew I liked you. And now we see even more of the reason why. And you have to tell me, look, I'm in journalism. I understand that everyone stands up for you. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying. Yeah.
I do, which is why I revere the escapism and the joyfulness that you bring in your art. And thank you for sharing a little bit more about Mr. Hackman, too. Keith David, thank you.
Well, I will miss him. We will all miss him. Yeah.
We will. Up next, Attorney General Pam Bondi deals with her first MAGA crisis over this question. Where exactly are those supposedly sensational Jeffrey Epstein files that she promised? The whole thing now getting a little bit out of control because what was released today had the president's diehard supporters outraged.
Twitter. That's great, man. Jack B's, hey.
We were the most social people.
We invented a whole new thing.
It's the most emotional company, and its founders are neurotic.
Twittering is all the rage. Billions of dollars. Twitter was running the public square.
Rachel was engagement.
No one could possibly have understood where it was going.
Twitter, Waking the Bird, produced March 9th on CNN.
Thinking of updating my kitchen.
Yeah?
Yes. This year, we are finally updating our kitchen in subway tile and an ivory or eggshell. Cream. Maybe bone. Don't get me started on quartz. Big Island. Get rid of a waterfall.
For everyone who talks about doing that thing, but never does that thing, Chase has financial guidance.
You can start saving to make this happen. Really?
Really?
Really.
At home or in person.
You can also check out a Chase Money Skills workshop.
That's guidance from Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
One day, your joints hurt.
It sits on your skin.
I got Cosentyx. Feels good to move.
Feel less joint pain, swelling, and tenderness, back pain, through your skin. Help stop further joint damage with Cosentyx. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Years of hard work. Decades of dedication. Committed to giving back. You've been there, done that, and you're still here for more. So now that you're 50 or older and at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia and IPD, be proactive with Capvaxive, a vaccine specifically designed for adults to help protect against pneumonia, an invasive disease caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive is the only vaccine that helps protect against the strains that cause 84% of IPD in adults 50 or older, compared with up to 52% by other pneumococcal conjugate vaccines. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Whether you've had another pneumococcal vaccine or not, ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. More than 72 million Americans rely on Medicaid for health care. Nearly half of all children and millions of seniors, veterans, disabled Americans, their neighbors and friends. But now, some politicians are calling for devastating cuts to Medicaid, cuts that would threaten access to care. We need Medicaid for a healthy America. Tell Congress to protect Medicaid and ensure access to care for patients. Take action at strengthenhealthcare.org.
Insurify. At Insurify, we make it easy to cut your car insurance bill in half. Half? How? Just go to Insurify.com and compare dozens of quotes in a few clicks. We cut out the middleman so you can cut your bill in half. We even cut out the phone calls. You can do it all online. I just cut my bill in half. That's Insurify. Compare prices and switch online. Out the bill twice the... Not having to pay twice as much. Go to Insurify.com and save up to 50% on your car insurance.
Well, you're in the big leagues now.
How was your vacation, sir? Well, I needed one.
With your 10% loyalty program discount, that's $225 for the night.
Not bad.
Enter a truck, bitch. What?
Hold up. How?
It's easy when you know where to look.
Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%.
Trivago's my secret.
Hotel? Trivago.
United States of Scandal with Jake Tapper returns Sunday, March 9th on CNN.
So for days, Attorney General Pam Bondi has been teasing the release of alleged secret documents the government has on powerful allies of disgraced convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And today, the Trump administration released the so-called Epstein files, well, to a group of pro-Trump social media influencers. But the roughly 200 pages of documents reportedly contain little new information, we're told, and now Attorney General Bondi is accusing the FBI field office in New York of withholding thousands of pages of documents in that case. And she's demanding they are delivered to her by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Here with me now, senior political correspondent for POP, Tara Palmieri, and chief White House correspondent for Politico, Nasha Burns. Meeting with you, Tara, you've actually spoken to one of the alleged victims of Epstein.
Two, actually.
Yeah, two.
Reached out to me, yeah.
What did you learn?
They're really disappointed. I talked to Virginia Giuffre, who was the one who accused Prince Andrew of raping her. And, she just said that these are basically her court documents made public. It's rehashing old material. It's flight logs that we've already seen before. It's, the little black book. It's a lot of information that's already been in the public domain. I have 2 podcasts on Jeffrey Epstein. I've gone through these files. There's not much new in there. She says that when she went to the FBI's offices with her lawyer, Stan Hollander, that she saw videos cached. She saw photos that she had to confirm were pictures of her, and they've never been released to the public, and she thought that at least that would be released.
And she wanted that to be released.
Yeah, and
why?
It's a bit disappointing to them. They want this in the public domain. They want the Epstein story to be told. They feel like a lot of people are out there basically skirting justice, really powerful people who have been allowed to get away with spending time with a pedophile and molesting young women. She said it's not good enough. We want the untouchables. But she admits it's phase 1. But they felt another Epstein victim, Mariah Turkey, she reached out to me and she said, nothing new was released. It was all a show of circus. And I think it really upsets them because they saw the theater that was going on, the binders that were handed out to these influencers, right, suggesting that this is all new information. But anyone who knew anything about the Epstein trial and the case knew that this was not new information at all. And they were really hopeful. Virginia Roberts spoke to Elon Musk before the election, and he promised her over X that he would release the files, and she took him to that, and he hasn't done that, and she's really disappointed about that as well.
Why has the DOJ been so focused on this particular case above all?
I mean, to Tara's point, the theater of it all. There are multiple stories like Epstein, like the JFK files, that the Trump base has really focused on. Their attention has been placed on those because there's been this sowing of distrust, right? Sowing of distrust in the government, sowing of distrust in the institutions, the deep state idea that the government is hiding all of these materials. And look, there certainly is more to the story, and there may be more that's released. But there's been this fervor built up between Trump and his base because he's the guy that's going to go and show you the things that the government has been hiding from you. And this is one of those stories where they were looking for that. Well,
was the thought that it would exonerate any association with Trump, or that it would reveal those who were the so-called untouchables?
There are a lot of online theories about untouchables, particularly high up in the Democratic Party, that people in MAGA world were hoping would be uncovered here. Yeah, but Trump was in one of the was in the little black book that was revealed today. He was in the files. They used their own followers as props today. They made them look like fools, and they are furious online. There is a revolt going on among the right. They're furious. They stood there in the White House with these binders that had nothing in them that was new. They're props. Laura Loomer, I know, she's been very closely associated with Trump. She's freaking out about this. Anna Polak,
what is their specific problem?
Their problem is that you made this into some sort of dog get pony show. Look at the pictures. and there's nothing in there. This is nothing. They want the goods. And
but the who they handed it to, the 15 influencers or so, I mean, what was behind that decision? Was it because they knew that it was not going to be at all thorough, anything different, and that this may have been a prop? Is that why?
Well, two things. The story of this week, in part, has been the fight that the White House has been picking with the mainstream media, right? So this was a show of, hey, we're going to include new people in this. I think that they did a disservice to some of those influencers because they made them think. They went out on their platforms and said, hey, we have this stuff that no one has seen, and that wasn't the case. And again, this is part of that narrative that we've been seeing all week long, but it didn't exactly play out to the favor of a lot of folks in MAGA world.
How about Kash Patel? I mean, he's been asked to provide wherever the 1,000 or so documents would be. What happened there? Is that the goal then, to have him go that New York office try to get that, and that's where the documents are?
Yeah, I think this was some sort of like PR plan by Pam Bondi. She thought this could win her some social media clout, and it failed miserably. She has egg on her face, and now she's blaming the New York SDNY, their office, for not giving them more documents. Like, that's your job. You know, you're supposed to know what you're doing. And yeah, I mean, they got played. The right-wing media got played today, and I don't think that they're going to take this again from the Trump administration.
You agree?
I think that they have claimed that they're furious in the past, and that has all been water under the bridge once they get something that they want. So we'll see what this is.
Stay tuned, everyone. Tara, Dasha, both, thank you so much. You know, we've been taking questions from you at home, and when we get a lot, what do people who voted for Trump think now? Well, tonight you're going to get at least one answer from our next guest, a federal worker who supported Trump, voted for him, and now just lost her job. Her story, next.
Our restaurant's been in business for 17 years. American technology and innovation are a part of everything we do, from helping us attract new customers to facilitating deliveries through websites and apps. I'm really excited about what artificial intelligence can do for small businesses like ours. This game-changing technology will make us smarter and more efficient. Advancing open source AI will make our economy and Main Street stronger. Our leaders in Washington need to protect our competitive edge.
My mom used to tell me, if you want to be a champion, you got to be a champion at life. I got to watch her play at her highest from when I was born.
From one generation to the next, we don't stop.
I always wanted to know why I am the way I am. My curiosity led me to Ancestry. It breaks down everything genetically, what that means. That's amazing, right? It all comes full circle.
If you're living with HIV, imagine being good to go without daily HIV pills. Good to go, unscripted. Good to go, on a whim. With Cabenuva, there's no pausing for daily HIV pills. For adults who are undetectable, Cabenuva is the only complete, long-acting HIV treatment you can get every other month. It's 2 injections from a healthcare provider, as few as 6 times a year. Don't take Cabenuva if allergic to its ingredients or taking certain medicines that may interact. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, post-injection reactions, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. Tell your doctor about your medicines or supplements, medical conditions, liver or kidney problems, mental health, pregnancy, and breastfeeding. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. With Cabenuva, you're good to go, without daily HIV pills. Talk to your doctor about switching.
Liberty Mutual is all she talks about since we saved hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Hey kid, it's pronounced Liberty. 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 Now she's mocking me. Very mature.
Hey, that's a nephew too.
Hey, I'm not the one acting like a total baby.
She's 2.
Only pay for what you need.
When emergency strikes, first responders are the first ones in. But on outdated networks, the crucial technology they depend on is limited. That's why T-Mobile created T-Priority. Only solution built for the 5G era that can dynamically dedicate up to 10 times the capacity for first responders. T-Priority, built for tomorrow's emergency, ready today.
Well, you're in the big leagues now.
How was your vacation, sir? Well, I needed one.
With your 10% loyalty program discount, that's $225 for the night.
Not bad.
$155 for the night.
Hold on. How?
It's easy when you know where to look. Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%.
Trivago's my secret packet.
Hotel Trivago.
Welcome back. But I got news for you. New Saturday on CNN.
Well, new tonight, a federal judge finding that Doge's mass firing of thousands of federal probationary employees was likely unlawful, and now ordering the Office of Personnel Management to inform some of the affected agencies they had no authority to even make those cuts. One of those probationary employees, 24-year-old Michigan native Riley Cooper, was just let go by the U.S. Forest Service and shared her heartbreaking story with the Washington Post. You see, Riley has dreamed of becoming a mother. After a doctor told her that IVF could be her only hope of having children, she turned to Trump, who had promised on the campaign trail to fully cover the procedure. It ended up being the very reason she cast her ballot for President Trump this past November. Riley Cooper joins me now. Riley, welcome. Thank you for sharing your story. And I wonder, what was it like for you when you got the news that you were being let go?
It was really hard. I was on the phone with my best friend Kaylee at the time, and we were just discussing her life and how things were going, and I looked at my phone and I had gotten a text from our union rep, and he told me that I was going to be fired the next day. And I told her, I have to go. I'm getting fired tomorrow. And my heart just sank.
I'm so sorry this is happening, and the frustration you must be feeling, and perhaps anxiety about what's next. And of course, we're hearing a lot about, following the campaign and the elections, about the mandate that people wanted to see a streamlined government. They want to be able to right-size it in some way and rid of waste and fraud. That was not the motivating reason you were voting for President Trump. Does that impact the way you see any of this?
Yeah, it's hard from my perspective to approach the current administration with hope. I've been dealing with infertility now for about a year. I've had multiple surgeries in my life. So, going into the voting booth, the main thing on my mind was the same thing I've been thinking about for the past 11 months. And it was, I want to be a mom. And women who have gone through that experience, that heartbreaking feeling of wanting something that you might never have, they understand how much of your time is taken up with those thoughts and how overwhelming and lonely it can feel. So as someone who is more of a swing voter, sometimes that's what it comes down to, is those single issues. Because when you step into the voting booth, you're thinking of what's important to you and like the issues that are resonating with you in that moment. And for me in that moment, it took me a while, and I made a decision that, looking back, I'm not proud of, but it's the reality of my situation now.
Riley, do you now regret the way you voted for Trump?
I do feel regret, and I've had a lot of tumultuous thoughts about that day in the election booth. when you're voting on something that affects you so personally, it's really easy to get tunnel vision, especially in a voting booth when you're staring at, you have two options, right? I mean, it's not like you're given an endless amount of options to achieve your goals. And so afterwards, when I thought maybe this is my chance, I also had to come to terms with the fact that I was likely going to be a part of, taking chances away from other groups of people. And that's never sat well with me.
I understand, sadly, you have been getting a lot of hate mail, a lot of negative reaction for even speaking your mind about how you feel since being fired. Can you describe some of that?
People online get very brave. They can very easily say terrible things to you that they would never in a million years say to anyone's face. I've had people tell me that, they hope that I never have a child and that I got exactly what I deserve. And as much as all of the terrible comments have been coming through, I've also received an immense amount of support, especially from women who have gone through IVF, who struggle with infertility. It's unfortunately a large group of us out there who deal with this. And I hope that more light comes to the issue of infertility. It's a terrible, lonely process. And I'm really glad that some people have reached out with, understanding, and they send me hope as well, which I appreciate.
Riley Cooper, thank you. Still ahead, doge around and find out. A judge now demanding that a member of Musk's team shows up to court and explain what's happening. And under oath, by the way. Plus, Zelensky, Trump, and the big meeting that everyone from Washington to Moscow are on the edge of their seats about.
Tournament of Champions, where 32 of the world's best chefs put their fate in the spin of a wheel with culinary glory on the line. It's time to put it all on the plate.
Season premiere, Tournament of Champions, Sunday night at 8.
With Flonase, allergies don't have to be scary. Spraying Flonase daily gives you long-lasting, non-drowsy relief. Flonase, all good.
I think I changed my mind about these glasses.
Yeah, it happens. That's why VisionWorks gives you 100 days to change your mind. It's simple. Anything else I can help you with?
Like what?
VisionWorks. See the difference. At Fisher Investments, we may look like other money managers, but we're different.
You can't be that different.
We are. We have a team of specialists not only in investing, but also in financial and estate planning and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, and as a fiduciary, we always put their interests first.
But you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, we have a simple management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Huh, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Problems with gray hair? Not anymore. With the new Alpecin Gray Attack, the easy-to-use shampoo for darker and thicker-looking hair day by day. Fight for your hair with the new Alpecin Gray Attack. Available at Amazon.
What happens when one of the most famous dunkers of all time goes to the greatest lobster fest of all time?
I make Red Lobster famous. No, Blake, dunking happens.
Yeah, you're right. You get your own lobster lover's dream with 2 or 3 choices on one plate at Red Lobster.
I'm Howie Mandel, the newest ambassador of Skechers. I was an ambassador. Do I get a discount? The owner called me and said, would you like to be an ambassador for Skechers? And I said, yes. Try Skechers slip-ins.
How do you sleep at night? On a mattress from Mattress Firm. So I sleep.
The President's Day sale ends soon. Save up to $700 on Sealy. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night.
Had it with your old phone. We've got you. At Verizon, trade in any old phone for iPhone 16 Pro on us, on any plan. And get iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all 3 on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
When I was diagnosed with HIV, I didn't know who I would be.
But here I am, being me.
Keep being you and ask your healthcare provider about the #1 prescribed HIV treatment, Biktarvy.
Biktarvy is a complete one pill, once a day treatment used for HIV in many people, whether you're 18 or 80. With one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to undetectable and stay there, whether you're just starting or replacing your current treatment. Research shows that taking HIV treatment as prescribed and getting to and staying undetectable prevents transmitting HIV through sex. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Don't take Biktarvy if you take dofetilide or rifampin. Tell your healthcare provider about all the medicines and supplements you take. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or have kidney or liver problems. If you have hepatitis B, don't stop taking Biktarvy without talking to your healthcare provider. Common side effects are diarrhea, nausea, and headache.
No matter where life takes you, Biktarvy can go with you. Talk to your healthcare provider today.
Did they just hop from a baseball game to a show on Max without leaving DirecTV?
It's like all their apps and channels are...
Oh, it's all connected. Shows, movies, sports, looking shows.
Is she talking to us?
So, how does DirecTV put all your favorite stuff on one home screen? Uncanny content suggestions based on your watch history? They're mind controlled.
Are you recently electrocuted?
A better way to watch whatever you want to watch.
Well, I, for one, am intrigued.
Oh, don't forget, dinner with my boss.
Great. Our new Ultimate Adhesive will save the day. New Polygrip Ultimate Food Seal and Comfort.
If your mouth could talk, it would ask for...
Polygrip. Winner, Breaking the Bird. Premieres March 9th on CNN.
Well, tonight, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration officials and at least one member of Elon Musk's team to give sworn testimony on Doge's access to sensitive government data. Requisitions will be no longer than 8 hours in total and limited to 3 topics from earlier court filings. Judges. This will be the first time a Doge member has been required to give testimony under oath. Tara Palmieri and Dasha Burns are back with me now. Dasha, federal agencies, unions, members of Congress, they've been all trying to get access to what's happening and how. Is this their chance to figure out exactly what Doge is doing?
Yeah, the black box is how people have been referring to what's going on with Doge, because what are the actual numbers of the money he's saying he's cutting? Who is he talking to? Who even works for him? Remember we had that moment this week about who the special administrator is, and the White House refused to answer, and then we figured it out?
That may have been news to her, too. But I don't know. I just don't know yet.
But Musk is starting to run up against some hard to dismantle guardrails in the government. Namely, you said you love judges and lawyers, right? Eventually, and maybe it's not catching up as quickly as some people would want it to, but there are those guardrails in place, and the courts is one of those. But eventually, Congress and other branches of government are going to start to get involved in this. And to the point that the young woman that you interviewed made, this is what I'm starting to hear from voters. They voted on the economy, they voted on immigration, they voted on health care. Doge was not the thing that they thought was going to be the majority of the conversation in the first critical 100 days. So there's a lot of frustration from some voters. Why is this what's consuming my day-to-day?
Not the actual premise, but the vehicle by which to do everything, it seems. But I also, on that point, the person who's running it, supposedly, Elon Musk, and the idea of conflicts of interest, we're back on, Tara, because Elon Musk was saying today that upgrades to the FAA's air traffic control system, that they're failing, and that SpaceX, which happens to be his company, right, needs to take over Verizon's contract. And Verizon says that it is not running the current system. But that aside, how do these conflicts come into play in terms of how people are judging the motivation and intent of Elon Musk?
It's interesting to see what Elon Musk is interested in. You know what I'm saying? He's interested in the FAA, things that fly. He's interested in NASA, a place where he has billions of dollars in contracts and rents a launch pad for only $1 a year. What is Elon Musk looking into right now? Where does he find cuts? It's in places where he can, either find deregulation for himself, get rid of contracts that exist, perhaps replace them at some point with contracts with his own companies. He is just rife in conflicts of interest. Someone who has $800 million, I think it is, in contracts is going to be conflicted with the government. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I often wonder what's in it for him. Is it truly the goodness of his heart or something much different? We'll have to see about that. President Trump and the UK Prime Minister, though, today held a press conference, as you saw. There was a pretty big shift, I'm being generous with that, in Trump's tone with respect to President Zelensky. Listen to this.
I have a lot of respect for him. We've given them a lot of equipment and a lot of money, but they have fought very bravely, no matter how you figure. They have really fought. Somebody has to use that equipment, and they have been very brave.
What's with the change in tone?
Well, let's remember also earlier in the day, someone asked him about his comment calling Zelensky a dictator.
Right.
He said, no, I can't believe I said that. Did I say that? Everyone in the White House press corps said, wait, what now? Look,
and was he serious or being
it
sarcastic?
felt a little coy, but then you heard him today change his tone. And look, this is straight out of the Trump playbook. The entire press team keeps talking about art of the deal. They point to things like
I'm definitely hungry.
blasting Zelensky and then pulling back, and the kind of chaos that ensues, the pearl clutching that you get in Europe and in the U.S. when he puts something like that onto his social, as a tactic, as just to sort of sow that chaos, upset the apple cart, and then find his way into making a deal. Now, is that a productive approach? We're just going to have to see.
It reminds me back with his first administration, right? His criticism actually of then President Obama, and he would say, I'm paraphrasing, you'd be a fool to lay all of your negotiation tactics on the table. Do you think that he is trying to do that he's being coy with the media because he has no intention of revealing his true intentions?
I don't know. I think he follows the same playbook all the time. What I've heard from people is that this whole rare earth deal is not that great. It's a lot of like smoke and mirrors again. A lot of those minerals are in places that are currently being occupied by the Russians. It's in a lot of the eastern part of Ukraine. And a lot
Meaning that Ukraine could not even give away if they tried?
Yeah. I mean, this is disputed territory right now. We're going to be mining it. And part of what I'm hearing from Trump sources is that this also potentially could give him cover for a presence there, given a lot of the MAGA base doesn't really understand why Trump is involved in Ukraine at all. They want him completely out America first, right? So this could be a way to sell it to his base without ruffling too many feathers.
I'm curious about the meeting tomorrow with Zelensky and what tone that will strike. Thank you both, ladies. Always great to have you both on. Well, now it's time for a quick assignment for you watching at home. I want you to pick your top 3 Gene Hackman movies. I know it's hard, but get them ready because after the break, we'll see if they stack up with Harry Hinton's list. And as always, he's got the numbers to back it up.
Cooked books, corporate fat cats, swingling socialites, doped-up cyclists, then yes, more crooked politicians. I have a feeling we won't be running out of those anytime soon.
A new season of United States of Scandal with Jake Tapper, March 9th on CNN.
I heard you found someone special. Yeah, is that dog food in the fridge? It's not dog food. It's fresh pet food. Real meat, real veggies for Peter. That's Peter?
Should have known.
Do make a pretty cute couple.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones, like the Motorola Edge with turbo power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes, and 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line.
T-Mobile has been such a saving for us.
We love it.
All right, so that's 1 pair of prescription glasses.
Yep.
Plus anti-reflective lens coating.
Oh.
Award-winning customer service.
That's me.
That's also me.
I see.
And free frame adjustments for life.
And that's included in the...
$95.
Oh.
Welcome to Warby Parker.
Years of hard work. Decades of dedication. Committed to giving back. You've been there, done that, and you're still here for more. So now that you're 50 or older and at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia and IPD, be proactive with Capvaxive, a vaccine specifically designed for adults to help protect against pneumonia, an invasive disease caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive is the only vaccine that helps protect against the strains that cause 84% of IPD in adults 50 or older, and with up to 52% by other pneumococcal conjugate vaccines. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Whether you've had another pneumococcal vaccine or not, ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive.
My accountant, who uses unsecured email, has all my tax info.
Tax forms have all the personal info thieves need to steal your identity. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points for identity theft. Get a first-year offer at lifelock.com.
Thinking of updating my kitchen. Thinking of redoing our kitchen. We are finally updating our kitchen.
For all those people who never seem to get around to it,
Breakfast number.
Chase has financial guidance.
See how you can start saving. Really?
Really? At home or in person. That's guidance from Chase.
With the vision to see what's possible and the grit to make it happen, Morgan Stanley can help create the future only you can see.
Ugh, we've all gotten good at stirring the pot. You know, maybe we find time for a little potluck. Yes, bring those red beans with the andouille, bring pastas and kielbasa's, and seriously, we all can't just get along for a few hours. That's a problem. You just gotta go gloves on, Johnsonville in, finger pointing off, and keep it juicy.
Whoa, isn't love this brushwork? Yeah, dude.
Guys, you absolute amateurs. How many times have I told you?
But Dad,
I didn't tell you would pay me. This house only Jägermeister ice cold. So, okay, Maestro. Use the big brush. I want to feel yours. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
This is CNN, World's News Network.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, call now. It will come to you.
800-821-4000.
You ever been to Poughkeepsie? Huh? Have you ever been to Poughkeepsie? Hey, man, come on, give me a break. Let's talk about it. Come on. Have you ever been to Poughkeepsie? You've been to Poughkeepsie, haven't you? I want to. Come on. You've been there, right?
That's Gene Hackman in the 1971 film, The French Connection. He won an Oscar for it. His character, New York detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle, he didn't play by the rules. A lot of Hackman's roles actually broke the mold, which is why he was so great at his craft. He made us laugh and question our sanity.
Are you trying to steal my woman? I beg your pardon. You heard me, Coltrane. Coltrane. What? Did you just call me Coltrane? No.
He brought us the philosophical musings of a criminal mastermind.
Some people can read War and Peace and come away thinking it's a simple adventure story. Others can read the ingredients on a chewing gum wrapper and unlock the secrets of the universe.
He taught us to be skeptical of the government. I mean, before that was cool.
Who are you working for? Now, is this about me? Am I a target here? Do they know me? Who is they?
But most of all, he gave us inspiration.
You put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best you can be. I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners. Okay?
Prompting the slow clap. That's just a taste of what Hackman brought to the big screen, and a small one at that. I mean, this man starred in more than 70 movies. So which one rises to the top? Well, CNN's Harry Enton is here to run us through the Hackman's greatest works. Talk to us, Harry. There's a lot to choose from. I mean, Hoosier is one of my absolute favorites, especially that pep talk scene now that my son is always in a locker room playing basketball. But you've looked at the critics and the audience favorites, and Hoosiers is not even in the top 3?
It's not on either list, though. Hearing that speech, I want to run through a wall and just play for him. My goodness gracious, just hearing it back. I want to get out in the hardwood and shoot some hoops, even though I'm terrible. But let's take a look at how the critics feel and how the moviegoers also felt. So let's take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, the top Gene Hackman film. What's so interesting about this list is I find movies that I never even knew that Gene Hackman starred in before. Cisco Pike, he was a bad guy in that film. 100%. He starred with Chris Christopherson. How about I Never Sang for My Father? He was a good guy in that. Played a guy who had a very interesting relationship with his father. Again, 100%. And of course, you played it in the intro. The French Connection, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. What I will note is the French Connection after his character in the French Connection. So Gene Hackman may be gone, but he lives on. But this is the Rotten Tomatoes, right? Let's talk about the box office, okay? Gene Hackman's top grossing films domestically, okay? The Firm, $158 million. Of course, he was a bad guy in that, with, of course, Tom Cruise being the good guy. Then Superman. I mean, Lex Luthor. Come on, baby. $138 million. Again, not such a good guy. But then what I love about Gene Hackman, you know, we talk about some films he was the good guy, some films he was the bad guy, sometimes he played a serious role, sometimes he played a comedic role. The Birdcage, of course, he was the senator in that film, in which he kind of came around on gay rights. So quite a fun little film there.
I can't believe that, like, you don't have on there Unforgiven, which is, of course, one of my favorites as well. Mississippi Burning, you got The World. I mean, I could go on and on, but The Firm, I'm with you there. I love this character there, and of course, it's one of the classic Tom Cruise's sprinting scenes, and we all know what happens next. So I've got to ask you, Harry, but I know you just can't resist telling me. What is your favorite Gene Hackman movie?
You know, we've started with him being in a coach role. We'll end with him being in a coach role. My favorite Gene Hackman film, The Replacements. Only 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I got to take a listen to this film because it's inspiration again. I put the game in your hands. You got scared.
I read Blitz.
Winners always want the ball when the game's on the line.
Winners always want the ball, Coach. That's why I want the ball. That's why I want to throw you the ball. Gene Hackman, though. Any closing thoughts? What do you think of my thought here?
It's a good one. I agree. And Rotten Tomatoes is not always matched what I love. But I got to tell you, I had the hardest time trying to figure out what's my favorite thing, my favorite monologue, favorite scene. And there are so many to choose from. I guess that's why you know that he was a great one, because every generation has one they love. And now they're sharing my shit in some of these movies as well. The right appropriate age ones.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And hey, everyone, thank you all for watching. Anderson Cooper 360 is next. We leave you tonight with another iconic line from one Gene Hackman, from Harry's favorite, The Replacement.
Playing the royal card at the White House with an invitation from the king.
Pumpkin King. The Pumpkin King. Pumpkin King.
Extraction and processing is costly and could take decades. On Thursday, the Prime Minister at the White House, during an hours-long charm offensive, Keir Starmer urged the US president not to reward Russia, the aggressor, in any peace deal with Ukraine. More details on CNN's Jeff Salome. President Donald Trump softening his tone against Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as he prepares to welcome him here to the White House on Friday morning in what could be the signing of a historic deal between the U.S. and Ukraine that could lead to broader peace negotiations. Now, it was an extraordinary meeting on Thursday. Once again, a European leader coming to the White House to try and urge the American president to consider the Western allies more than Vladimir Putin. But Trump made clear he still trusts Putin.
I think it was right. I think I've spoken to him. I've known him for a long time now. We had to go through the Russian hooks together. That was not a good thing. It's not fair. That was a rigged deal. And had nothing to do with Russia. I don't believe he's going to violate his word. I don't think he'll be back when we make a deal.
The American president making those comments in the Oval Office. Be back when we make a deal. The American president making those comments in the Oval Office. Minister Keir Starmer rushed and seemingly wanted to offer a history lesson throughout the day, clearly trying to pull Trump back and get his assurances for some type of a security guarantee. Trump did not offer any specifically, but he listened as Starmer offered this history lesson.
We have to win the peace, and that's what we must do now. Because it can't be peace that rewards the aggressor, or that gives encouragement to regimes.
Rare earth minerals.
Some access to the asset of Ukraine. As Zelensky traveling to Washington, clearly facing a president who wants to be a dictator. On Thursday, Trump called him a brave man. Jeff Zeleny, CNN, the White House. To Los Angeles now, and CNN's European Affairs commentator Dominic Thomas. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me on, John.
Okay, this was a charm offensive on steroids, perhaps. The British Prime Minister arriving, and it started with this, surprise invitation, a letter from the King. This is what happened.
It's an invitation for a second state visit. This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented.
The answer is yes, and we look forward to being there and honoring the King and honoring really your country. Your country is a fantastic country.
Classy.
Donald Trump seemed actually surprised, pretty pleased about it all. And then Starmer went on to lavish him with praise, even used his own words. This seems to be a pattern now with foreign leaders when they visit the White House. So, big picture, did all the fawning and all the compliments actually pay off in any way for the British Prime Minister?
Well, I think the first thing to say, John, is that it's not a great look, particularly for such an important and long-standing historic power and friend of the United States in the guise of the UK, and on the heels of Emmanuel Macron's visit. It was an example of, flattery and subservience. But I think ultimately the big question, as you've asked, is, what did he get out of it and why did he go through these particular motions? And I think that the bigger context when it comes to the UK is really, in this case, at all costs to avoid tariffs. But it's not just tariffs in the case of the UK in the same way as France. The promise, let's not forget, of Brexit was that global Britain would establish these unilateral deals with major powers around the world. And although Keir Starmer is an outgrowth of that moment, not himself part of those Brexiteers, his country absolutely needs this trade deal with the United States moving forward. And I think that was the number one goal of his visit here with President Trump today.
Yeah, one of the other major issues for the British Prime Minister was US security guarantees for Ukraine in any peace agreement with the Russians. Here he is.
Mr. President, I welcome your deep and personal commitment to bring peace and to stop the killing. You've created a moment of tremendous opportunity to reach a historic peace deal.
a deal that I think would be celebrated in Ukraine and around the world. That is the prize. But we have to get it right.
The praise was amazing. And earlier this week, the French president was also pushing for security guarantees for Ukraine when he visited the White House. Is there now this acceptance by Europe that a peace deal is coming, whether they like it or not, and the best they can do now is try and, as much as they can, to make it in favor of Ukraine?
So I think that there's a belief that some kind of deal is going to be enacted. What it will look like, I think there's a lot of uncertainty around that. I'm not even sure they're specifically thinking of how this deal might favor Ukraine, but how it might be to their own advantage. Because I think there is an understanding in Europe, particularly in the case of the UK, the new leadership coming in Germany and in France, that they cannot go it alone. They don't want to fund this. They don't have the public and the electoral support in their own countries, and they face their own economic woes, and they desperately want the help of the United States, even if that means enabling the United States to strike these mineral deals in exchange for protection. I think that some kind of support through that, and therefore also through NATO, is their number one priority here. And of course, we'll see down the road what that means in terms of the kind of dependency on that model of protectionism versus and extracting mineral resources moving forward, John.
And one kind of try and end the war in Ukraine. Keir Starmer says that Britain will provide boots on the ground to act as some kind of peacekeeping force. As for US willingness to support those troops, here's the president.
If British troops are in Ukraine keeping the peace and get attacked by Russia, will you come to their aid?
If the British people are in Ukraine, if they get attacked, I've always found about the British, they don't need much help. They can take care of themselves.
Concerned about US commitment to their defense.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think when it comes to long-standing relationships, one has to ask which Europe he really has in mind here, because he has allies that are soft on Russia or that are themselves aligned with Russia, like Hungary, like Slovakia. So there's some divisiveness in Europe there as well. The German Chancellor, and certainly in the German election recently, the question of this inconsistency was a major issue. And so moving forward, I think that there is a desire, a genuine desire, for this conflict in Ukraine to come to an end. There's some concern as to what their own negotiations are going to have to be with the Trump White House, and what that kind of dependency on United States support for some kind of peace accord is going to mean down the road, should President Trump enact this foreign policy in other areas, and Europe would have issues with that. Are they able to maintain a critical relationship with this president, or will they continue moving forward to essentially kiss the ring, which is what Keir Starmer and President Macron have been doing recently?
Yeah. Dominic, thank you so much for being with us. Good to see you. Dominic Thomas,
thank you.
Well, a win for thousands of federal workers who were fired as part of the Trump administration's government efficiency efforts. A judge has ruled mass firings overseen by the Office of Personnel Management are likely unlawful. He says OPM does not have any authority whatsoever under any statute in the history of the universe to hire and fire employees within another agency. Lawyers for the Trump administration say the OPM did not do firings, but asked specific agencies if the workers were fit for continued employment. The plaintiffs argued they were fired based on the lie of poor performance. Mexico has extradited 29 fugitive cartel members to the U.S. Among them is notorious cartel kingpin Rafael Caro Quintero. He spent 4 decades at the top of the Drug Enforcement Administration's most wanted list. Drug lord was allegedly involved in the kidnapping, torture, and murder of an American narcotics agent in 1985. The DEA's acting administrator says the move is extremely personal for the department's men and women. Right-wing influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan are now in the United States after they were allowed to leave Romania, where they've been charged with rape and human trafficking, among other alleged crimes. Their entry follows reports the US pressured Bucharest to release Andrew Tate, a self-proclaimed misogynist with a massive online following. But President Trump denies knowing anything about this.
I know nothing about that. I don't know. You're saying he's on a plane right now? Yeah, I just know nothing about it.
More details now from CNN's Vidya Bashir.
Andrew Tate, a self-proclaimed misogynist, and his brother Tristan, landing in Fort Lauderdale, refusing to answer if President Donald Trump helped them return to the United States. The brothers, online influencers, both permitted to travel out of Romania after prosecutors lifted a years-long travel ban.
Listen. We live in a democratic society where it's innocent until proven guilty, and I think my brother and I are largely misunderstood. I think it's extremely important that we stop allowing media spin, wrap-up smears, lies, or carefully constructed narratives.
Police arrested the Tate brothers in December 2022 and later charged them with offences including rape and human trafficking, allegations they deny.
We're innocent until proven guilty any of this.
Legal proceedings in Romania are still ongoing, leading many to question why Romanian prosecutors have now chosen to lift the travel ban, and what connections there may be to the Trump administration. Tate has long been a vocal supporter of the US president, posting just 2 weeks ago, "The Tates will be free. Trump is the president."
The golden age of American begins right now.
I'm so excited for the next 4 years.
And sharing this video on social media just last week. Earlier this month, the Financial Times reported, citing sources, that the Trump administration had put pressure on Romanian authorities to lift the travel restriction. First through a phone call, then through a meeting between Trump's special envoy, Richard Grenell, and Romania's foreign minister at the Munich Security Conference. Romania's foreign minister has acknowledged that discussions took place, though the foreign ministry claims there was no such pressure from the Trump administration. A lawyer representing some of the alleged victims of Andrew Tate has said there is clear evidence to support the allegations against him, calling the decision disgusting and accusing the US government of, quote, lobbying for their release.
They're trying to tell you facts. The truth is a lie.
In recent years, Andrew Tate shot to internet fame, racking up billions of views on TikTok, with videos centered on his views on male dominance, female submission, and wealth.
I don't think the world has ever been equal. I'm saying that the modern society we live in has been built by men.
And Tate just last week writing, "Hate me all you want. Women are all sex workers." Comments like those and the charges in Romania, why Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said the brothers aren't welcome in his state.
No, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct.
Vidya Bashir, CNN, London.
Investigations continue into the cause of death after legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead in their Santa Fe home on Wednesday. Right now, foul play is not suspected, but has not been ruled out either. CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell has details.
I don't have a lot of fears. I have the normal fear of passing away. I guess we all think about that.
An investigation is underway into the death of two-time Oscar winner Gene Hackman.
They're going to work this case. They're going to look at every aspect and try to figure out the exact cause. And I think the autopsy is going to be key, and the toxicology. But again, in my experience, that could take a while.
The 95-year-old Hollywood icon was found dead Wednesday inside his New Mexico home, along with his 65-year-old wife, Betsy Arakawa, and a dog, according to officials. Circumstances which the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office called suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation.
It's concerning that everyone in the house, including the dog, is deceased.
Deputies were called to Hackman's house on a welfare check request made by two maintenance workers, according to a search warrant.
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Inside, deputies found the couple's bodies in different rooms and say they appear to have been there for some time. Hackman in a mudroom, his wife in a bathroom near a space heater, with an open prescription bottle on the counter and pills scattered around. Deputies say she had obvious signs of death and body decomposition. Two healthy dogs were also found on the property, with a third found dead near Arakawa's body. Officials did not find any signs of forced entry, and The fire department and gas company didn't find any obvious signs of a gas leak or carbon monoxide. A sheriff's office spokesperson said the cause of death has not been confirmed, but it is not believed to be foul play. And here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, sheriff's officials behind me are involved in yet another high-profile investigation. This was the same team that conducted the investigation into the fatal shooting on the set of the movie Rust that involved actor Alec Baldwin. Now, we did get some new information from the sheriff's department. They say that autopsies have now been performed.
Why do we keep doing this?
As well as his wife. Initial findings.
This is the last one I'm doing.
No
I'm not doing this
trauma
anymore.
to either individual. Sheriff officials say that carbon monoxide and toxicology tests have been ordered as this investigation continues. And it's important to note that this will likely take time until we know the cause of death. Medical examiner investigations can take weeks, sometimes months to conclude. Josh Campbell, CNN, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Gaps in intelligence and a lack of preparation. What Israel did wrong leading up to and during the October 7 Hamas terror attacks. Details in a moment. Also, tropical cyclone Garas is bearing down on Reunion Island, east of Madagascar. We'll tell you whether it's expected to make landfall.
Everyday life is filled with everyday messes. You need a vacuum, sweeper, and rags to clean up spills big and small. But now there's an easier way to clean it all. Introducing Ruvio, the powerful cordless hand vac you can take anywhere for quick pickups, messes, and spills. Flip up the built-in dusting brush to clean delicate screens, furniture, and electronics without scratching. The two-stage stainless steel reusable HEPA filtration system helps clean the air of allergens, pet dander, and other airborne particles. And when you're done, simply twist off the dust container so you never have to touch the mess. The long-life battery gives you the suction power to quick clean kids' messes, pet messes, kitchen messes, bathroom messes, any messes in the garage or in the office. And it's the perfect size to keep in your car for easy cleanups whenever they happen. It's cordless, it's powerful, it's easy, it's Ruvio.
This is the only vacuum you need.
This is the most versatile vacuum I've ever owned.
The battery life is incredible. You can just keep on cleaning.
It's cordless, it's light as a feather, it's versatile. You really couldn't ask for anything more in a vacuum.
I really love the convenience of Ruvio.
My kids can even grab it and they can clean up their own messes. We use it every day. It's a great fit for our family.
Get Ruvio with wall charger and crevice tool, plus the portable charging station for just 4 easy payments of $33. And the shipping is free. But there's still more. We'll take off one payment for you when you order now. You get it all. The Ruvio cordless vacuum with charger, crevice tool, and charging station. A total value of $185. Yours for only 3 easy payments of $33. And the shipping is free. Don't mess with messes anymore. Get the one that gets the job done. Get Ruvio.
To order, call 1-800-399-3241. That's 1-800-399-3241 or go online to buyruvio.com.
The following message will sweep you off your feet.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big heavy vacuum?
Forget about it! George and Mary Beth back with another incredible invention.
It's the Zippy Sweeper, the rechargeable cordless sweeper that's lightweight and compact. With an advanced triangular design that gets into corners and features 360-degree cleaning.
It cleans any mess on carpets, hard floors, even long baseboards, in any direction.
Watch this. It cleans dirt and dust.
All for air.
And his trail of messy little crumbs.
It cleans up wet vegetables.
How about this confetti on the carpet?
How about this broken glass? And stay tuned to find out how you can save big with this QR code. The secret? Advanced tri-brush technology. There's a separate brush on each side of the unique triangular head. No matter which way you move the triangular cleaning head, the 3 high-speed spinning brushes will sweep every speck from your floor right into the built-in quick-release dirt tray.
Ordinary vacuums can miss messes in corners, but not the Zippy Sweeper. Its triangular head and built-in spinning edge brush pull the dirt out of corners where vacuums miss.
Sorry, Fido.
With its swiveling head and super low-profile design, you can clean under your furniture without moving it.
The Zippy cordless sweeper is 5 times lighter than an average vacuum cleaner, so it's great for cleaning the stairs. Zip into the future with Zippy Sweeper.
Zippy Sweeper is available on Amazon for $119.99. But if you call or scan the QR code now, you can get it for the exclusive on-sale price for just $79.
Why do we keep doing these?
Order now.
Tracy is about to have her best day ever on the runway. Her strut turns into a stumble. Her pumpkin pet insurance plan covers up to 90% of eligible vet bills. Get a plan like Gracie's at pumpkin.care.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
In the coming hours, Tropical Cyclone Garance is expected to pass just west of Reunion Island in the southern Indian Ocean and not make landfall. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, the storm is equivalent of a Category 3 Atlantic hurricane, with winds gusting almost up to 200 kilometers per hour. That's about 120 miles per hour. The other bands of Garance will be felt on Reunion Island Friday morning, and it's expected to bring flash flooding, and damage to property is possible, so to down tower. A new report on the October 7 terror attack says the Israeli military failed in its mission to protect civilians and drastically underestimated the capabilities of Hamas. The IDF points to gaps in intelligence and systemic failures in preparedness and response. As 2016, but Israeli intelligence misinterpreted the plans or dismissed them as unrealistic. The inquiry also says the IDF was caught off guard by the attack, during which Hamas killed 1,200 people with more than 250 lost. The first phase of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire is set to end Saturday, but negotiations are underway in Cairo on whether to extend the truce or move on to phase 2. The source tells CNN Israel will not withdraw forces from the Philadelphia corridor along the Gaza-Egypt border, a key requirement for phase 2. Israel accuses Hamas of smuggling weapons through the border. On Thursday, Israel released hundreds of Palestinian prisoners, and Hamas turned over the remains of 4 hostages. Details on all of this from CNN's Jeremy Diamond reporting in.
Well, Israel and Hamas have now concluded the exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners as prescribed under Phase 1 of this ceasefire agreement. That came after the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages were returned early Thursday morning back to Israel. Israel, in exchange, released 643 Palestinian prisoners following a delay of several days for 620 of those prisoners who should have been released this past Saturday. But the question now is what comes next. And indeed, right now, it's very hard to say because there is so much uncertainty. Israel and Hamas were supposed to start negotiating over phases 2 and 3 of this ceasefire agreement beginning on the 16th day of this ceasefire. But so far, there have really been almost no substantive negotiations to speak of on what comes next. Israel has agreed now to send a delegation to Cairo to pursue some of those negotiations. But the question is, what exactly will Israel be going for? Because notably, Ron Dermer, who is supposed to be leading negotiations on phase 2 of this agreement, he will not be present. Instead, lower-level officials will be dispatched to these talks. And we already know that Israeli officials are far more interested at this stage in extending phase 1 rather than getting into phases 2 and 3, basically seeing if they can get more Israeli hostages out of Gaza in exchange for Palestinian prisoners without doing the big, hard decision of ending the war in Gaza and withdrawing all Israeli troops from the Gaza Strip. It remains to be seen whether that's something Hamas will go for, but they have already shown a flexibility and a willingness to stick with this ceasefire agreement, showing no real appetite to get back.
I'm not doing no more of that. We're not doing that.
Now, Chomper is prime, scary ass shit. Even when I saw his ass coming down the block, I was straighten up. Keep your eyes open.
Jesus! Oh! Jesus Christ almighty! Oh, no!
Hey, Solomon is in control up there.
Whoa, what just happened? I just know it. Ah, nuts. Hi, remember me? Damn, that's weighty.
into this war. 59 hostages do, in fact, still remain in Gaza. 35 of them have been confirmed dead so far by the Israeli government. We also know that the Israeli government was supposed to begin its withdrawal from the Philadelphia corridor separating Israel and Gaza this coming Saturday.
All right, hopefully you get something good.
An Israeli source telling us, quote, "We will not exit the Philadelphia corridor," insisting that if they did, that could once again become a smuggling route for weapons into the Gaza Strip with Hamas. So a lot of uncertainty. And Steve Witkoff, the U.S. Special Envoy for the Middle East, he was already supposed to be in the region. He has postponed his trip, it seems, waiting to see perhaps whether there's any progress in those talks in Cairo going forward. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.
It's $1 trillion deal, according to the U.S. president. Ukraine about to sign over part of their reserves of rare earth minerals. But how much is there actually in Ukraine? The reserves are still unproven, and if they do have rare earth minerals, they seem to be in the parts occupied by Russia. Details on that story.
Time to send in your bets. All bets are closed. It's time to play.
I'm Richard Card, and I love my hose. My hose is lightweight. My hose will not kink. And my hose is anti-leak. It ain't those old hoses. This is my hose. The new Pocket Hose Copper Bullet, now infused with real copper, so your water is always clean and lead-free. Just turn on the water and watch your hose grow and grow to a full-size 3/4-inch hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking and squeezing that water out until it's practically bone dry. And that makes it easy to carry and put away. Our new inner tube uses 3 layers of high-strength latex on the inside. Then it's wrapped in a new polymer filament jacket, similar to the technology used in forest fire hoses because it's light and tough, 3 times stronger than the other hoses. It's guaranteed for 10 years, nearly impossible to tear or snag. And the redesigned connector protector helps stop leaks at the spigot. But my favorite part of our new hose build, the oversized, easy-to-grip fittings. Easy on and off, even with gloves. With more than 100 patents worldwide, it's the best pocket hose in the world. Get the super light 25-foot pocket hose copper bullet today for only $29.99. But wait, call now and get our copper spray with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use
Phasora. What's up, Phasora? Who I won, bitch? Yes.
You'll have a setting for every job. It's a $30 value. Yours free with every 50-foot copper bullet. But it's not available in stores. This is an exclusive release of our newest pocket hose. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-372-7153 or visit copperbullet.com. To call 1-800-372-7153
That streaming is great.
or visit copperbullet.com.
What you mean, Phasora?
Your bets, please. All bets are closed.
You know what else is nice? What else is nice, Phasora?
An 8. That's a 5. Do you want another card? 18. Another card? 15. That's 21.
Damn.
Win for the day.
Some bullshit.
And now your bets. It's a 4.
Welcome to Nada Yada.
There's 7.
At Metro, get $25 in line for 4 nights, plus 4 free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G phones.
That's 17.
No ID required, no activation fee. Get a new number or keep your own. 4 lines for $25 in line, plus 4 free
You're streaming. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Phasora.
Time to send in your bets.
BK man.
That's it.
Wanna warm up? This stir helps
You, if you are
classic
too nice and sweet. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
having your way. Let's do something easy for dinner. We've got pickleball.
Oh, no. Fuck. I didn't want to do that.
even eat pickles. Dinner is served.
Paid off, though. Oh, by the way, I just started my career at designing artwork. So should I draw you a free artwork line art? No need to pay. We can do business later if we become friends.
The US and Ukrainian presidents are set to meet at the White House Friday for an expected signing ceremony, giving US access to Ukrainian minerals. Senior US official says the mineral deal makes no mention of security guarantees for key.
But thank you for the offer, Fazora.
Provide the basis for a more sustainable future relationship between the United States and Ukraine.
That's a 12.
And thus stimulate the long-term prosperity that will Ukrainians rebuild their country. It's been demolished.
I have Snapchat.
But this agreement has been described as a possible shot in the dark for the United States, mostly because it's not known how much mineral wealth Ukraine actually has.
And that's 20.
Here's more from Nick Payton-Walsh.
We very much need rare earth. They have great rare earth.
A moonshot for Ukraine's survival.
Damn.
Peace suddenly means talking about places like here, this lunar landscape. A titanium mine struggling under the Russian bombardment of Ukraine's power grid, sometimes with only 3 hours power a day.
Зараз ми не знаємо, як буде відбуватися наша робота навіть завтра. Бо щодня ми бачимо, як руйнується енергосистема України. І наше підприємство зараз дуже нестабільне, і це приводить до дуже високої собівартості нашої продукції.
$500 billion. That was the sum that President
Check
Trump
your Insta. Follow back on
Ukraine
Insta.
might be able to pay back.
Oh, you found my Insta, Fazora.
Here you're going to sense the challenge, really, because this place, potential is certainly there, but they say they desperately need investment. These machines are so old, and yet so they say they would welcome American money.
The pressure to get money out of the ground is enormous, as are the questions as to whether the astronomical sums Trump thinks are here.
All right, I'm going to bed because I'm tired.
Under this sprawling sea of unknown.
As you can tell, I'm sure.
And who knows what rare earth is worth, but at least it's something. And who knows what it's worth? Who knows if they even have it?
It was, at first, Ukraine's idea. President Zelensky selling their mineral wealth in November, perhaps too successfully, as part of the victory plan for more aid. Showing reporters' maps here. They claim 7% global production of titanium. Lithium isn't mined yet, but they say...
See you later. Good night.
They're in the top 5 of graphite reserves.
It's Friday.
Rare earth metals. The initial framework deal doesn't specify what it covers, mentioning only relevant resource assets. That will be further described in another.
Deuces.
Yet the White House